How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about, well, Dead Rising, putting the dead in Dead Rising, because they've decided that they are going to go down the direction of a remaster, which generally means a one-to-one copy of the game. They have said they're adding some quality of life features to the game, but it turns out that this is by no ways a standard remaster. They've actually changed quite a bit to keep it in modern times. Do you remember a game called Saints Row? No? Well, I wouldn't actually be surprised, because they came, left, because they changed the game so much to make it modern acceptable that the whole purpose of Saints Row, which was absolutely a parody to GTA and its way of doing things, and it just became, it's basically a fun game where you do the most outlandish things. And they decided to take all of the outlandish things away and leave a bare bones game there that no one wanted, and the studio's gone. And I think they're gone anyway. I know the staff are gone. So fast forward to Dead Rising, a game I absolutely love, right? It's a really good game. I had so much good times with it. And they announced a deluxe remaster, and I was so excited. This made my day, because some of those games from yesteryear being remade now, or well, remastered to be playable on the newer generation consoles with better looking graphics, and we saw the improvements. It was good, and the fact that you could actually, they added quality of life features to it, made me excited. But they then decided to announce that there are going to be changes to this version that are no longer present from the original. And most of this stuff that's actually being removed is what made the original great. But anyway, do you know what? Let's head to the other side and see what's happening. Phase change! But before we get into this article, if you do enjoy this content or simply want to support what I do, hit that like button, smash that red button, tickle that bell so you can get all content I release. If you want to support me further, you can click on that nice shiny join button underneath the video. If you do join, you get cool emotes for the live streams if you do attend those Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you also get content like this earlier than anyone else. If you want to support me even further, there's a super thanks right next to the join button where you can thank me for the content of this video. Alright, on with the actual show. We have this by Frank by Daylight. This is Dead Rising and the DVD are what I'm about. If you love Frank West, you came to the right place, trying to get Frank West in DVD one day at a time. Okay, this tweet is to inform the entire Dead Rising fanbase of why changes were made to the deluxe remaster remake. It's a remaster. They called it a remaster, it's not a remake. Calling it a remake now is false advertising. I am not making this to change your opinion or tell you that you're wrong. I'm going to try my best to clear any misinformation in one post that you can all use for others. Larry Chang. Larry was changed because way back in 2006, there was a lot of animosity between Japan and Asia and China. Larry was originally a yellow-skinned fat guy to make fun of them and even their culture. Larry was changed in the remake because Capcom Japan do not hold that same animosity. How many people actually believe that that was the case? And secondly, if that is going to be the case, do what Insomniac did, right? They released a version of Spider-Man over there that was different in Saudi Arabia. They took all the LGBTQ stuff out, they took all the pride stuff out, they took all the woke stuff out, everything. And they just left the skeleton bone game there that just had the main missions, and that's it. So right now, 2 versions of Spider-Man exist because they knew that wouldn't sell in the, to the audience in Saudi Arabia. So why not do the same here? Why are you depriving people from the original content? This isn't a big deal, but it's also changing what was there. Erotica, because it's 2024, who cares? Who absolutely cares, right? And many people feel uncomfortable with certain topics in fiction. It's a video game. Go play Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, Tower of Fantasy, right? Go play Azure Lane, where their boobs are sticking out more in your face than you ever could imagine. Go play Stellar Blade. Literally one of the most sexualized games coming out in the last 2-3 years. There's so many games out there. What is this because it's 2024? So what you're saying is you're doing this for a political agenda. And that's not going to fly. And many people feel uncomfortable with certain topics in fiction. Erotica was changed because the devs felt having Frank West, and therefore the player, going around taking unsolicited photos of unconsenting women and also corpses was not what they wanted a part of the series anymore. Let me get this right. So you watch the news where people are taking photos of dead people, but you're perfectly okay. But the moment it's a woman, it's a problem. A dead woman, it's a problem. And you know what? Even the erotica part, unconsenting, just have the woman turn around, be all shy and stuff. You can do it in any way, right? I'm just thinking out the box here. But no. Again, like, what is this? Because it's 2024. It's a video game. Do you know what doesn't exist in 2024? Zombies. Zombies does not exist in 2024. So why is this game existing? Anyway, harassment and necrophilia are bad. Yet it exists. And it's not harassment, it's a video game. That pixel isn't going to come out and tell me that I've offended its feelings. Anyway, but I understand why people want it back. Even if it is kind of weird, I get it. So it wasn't weird when you first made it. You wasn't offended by it when you made it, when it was first made, and you loved it back then. So what's changed? Because it's 2024? Kent's lines changed. This goes hand in hand with the erotic thing. Kent now wants an outtake, basically a funny shot in the remake. So Kent was this really, if I remember correctly, this really creepy guy, if I'm not mistaken. But now they've, I think, toned it down. If it is who I'm thinking. Cliff's line's being changed. Cliff no longer calls Frank West a communist. Now this change is because Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster will be released in multiple countries, including China. So how about having a specific version in China that is just for them? And the rest of the world gets the version that was already out there. Almost all will also have voice acting in those languages. 2006 Dead Rising only had American voice acting. Times change. So, the yellow paint. It's literally only during the very first boss fight against Carlito, which is by all means a tutorial fight. Does this matter? In my opinion, not at all. Most people won't even notice or care about it, but it's there for the 3% of players that might need it. You never know. See, this yellow paint thing that people have a massive hate thing going towards, I literally don't care. I like the fact, I like it that it's there because it helps people that struggle. Not everyone is adept or hardcore or good at video games. So for those that actually need it, it's there. Maybe what they can do is add an accessibility option into the game, because people are all about accessibility today, right? And have that yellow paint as a toggle option. Just a thought. But hey, I've only worked in the games industry for about 3-4 years, so what do I know? New voice acting and actors. There was absolutely zero way that Capcom could bring back every actor from 2006. That I can understand. And because they wanted to add voice acting to the lines that used to just be text boxes, they decided to go with new voice actors entirely for a new experience. You don't have to like this. I understand people still want TJ if it helps. The new voice actor for Frank is actually really good. You know what? This one I totally get. This one I'm fully on board with. You can't always do that. But you know what? If you wasn't changing the voice lines, you wouldn't need this. But they're actually trying to get everything voiced in the game, so you know what? I'll give them credit for that, and I can understand why they're going with this one. That one's fine. Quality of life changes, fast forward time, autosave, the new controls and more. All of this is toggleable in the settings of the game at any time. Stop worrying. So for those of you that want an authentic experience, there's a toggle in there. So why isn't there a toggle for the yellow paint? Or why isn't there a toggle for having the original voice lines as opposed to the new voice lines? Or why isn't there a toggle in the game to enable erotica shots or not to enable erotica shots? Why isn't there a toggle in the game to allow, or why isn't there just 2 versions of this game? Right. Is Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster a perfect remake? It's not a remake. Stop calling it that. It's called a remaster. It's in the name. No, there is no such thing as perfect. You know what? Lollipop Chainsaw is pretty much perfect. And though people are trying to tell them to make the changes because having a cheerleader with a chainsaw in running around and chopping zombies is not acceptable in 2024, I'm buying that. Even if I didn't want to, I'm going to buy it. Because I respect the decision that they made. Although I love the original, so I'm going to play this as well. The devs have put real elbow grease. There is no such thing as perfect. Getting mad over all these incredibly small inconsistencies is just... It's not small inconsistencies. Just like in Saints Row, you changed the ethos of the game. You changed the essence of the game. You changed what the game was. And so people didn't want it. And what you're doing here, these little changes accumulate to become the whole experience. And you're changing those little changes. It's not, they say, if you have a bucket, it's a saying in my culture, but put a bucket out there and let a drop of rain drop in there. It doesn't amount to much. But over time, that drop of rain will flood the bucket. I'm hoping that analogy makes sense. It's not that it's one little thing. It's the culmination of everything that pretty much makes the game what it is, right? The devs have put real elbow grease into this game, even though the series has been dead for 7 years. And I feel bad for the developers. And I do, because I'm pretty sure they aren't the ones that were pushing for these changes, right? And if they were, then I have no sympathy for them anyway. Please give the game a chance. I just don't think I will. Right, and this is, this guy over here, he's gone, right? His lines are all gone. And that's the yellow thing that they're talking about. I have no problem with that at all. Please give the game a chance. Boycotting is just going to kill it all over again. And if the series does die, at least I can say I tried to keep it alive. Can you say the same? Well, if you tried to keep it alive, you would have kept it the same as it was. Don't blame the consumer in this situation when the consumer wanted a one-to-one remaster of the game. They didn't ask you to go above and beyond and change things. The control scheme being changed is an amazing thing. And the saving options are great. But you literally didn't have to touch anything else. You didn't. And this was a company decision or a team decision that has brought it here. So if the community is not wanting to play the version of the game that you are selling, that's on you. That's on the team at Capcom for doing it this way. It is not the consumer. And to try and portray this for the consumer is just wrong. And to even turn around and call the community weird because they wanted something that was in the original with the erotica shots and the necrophilia shots, and basically saying that you are for harassment and for that... Does this person even understand what it is they're saying, what it is they're doing? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Let's see some of the comments. This has to be my most important tweet I've ever made. Hope it all goes well. I'm late to saying this because I simply forgot to add it in the initial tweet. Even if it should be kind of obvious because of his last name, Larry is not white. He is still Larry Chang, Asian man. Let's see. To keep the erotica, they should have done it like Hideo Kojima, where when the camera turns to a female, they pose a giggle. That's what I was referring to, right? To show that they consent and are having fun with the photos. Also, taking pics of dead bodies is what photographers do for journalism. Exactly! I don't agree with your stance on Cliff personally. His whole thing about him being a Vietnam veteran was very important to him. Not bringing it up is just offensive to me. Felt relatable in a way since my grandfather lost his life as a result of Vietnam. So you're offending a whole different camp here. Understandable. If it helps, he still is a veteran, Vietnam veteran. He just isn't explicitly said to be anymore. So why is it offensive to, why is it okay offending one camp but not the other? Do you see what I mean when you start going down this route of trying to be inclusive and whatnot? The moment you try to be inclusive, you are being exclusive. And that's my biggest problem with this whole inclusivity, right? Because at the end of the day, no matter how much you try to do this, you are always going to exclude someone. Trying to please everyone means you please no one. Make a game for the audience that you want, that was originally in love with this game. Those people will buy it. It's crazy. To be absolutely fair with Ken, I think changing his lines is a mistake and removes the creepiness from him. That was literally his whole stick. That was Kent's whole stick, right? The creepiness and the whole dark humor that he had. Because he's supposed to be Frank if Frank had no humanity. So framing Kent taking unconsented photos of women as wrong and bad in the context of the game is a good lesson. That was exactly the point. I get you, Kent is much less creepy now, but his Frank, if he was evil stuff, now comes down to being willing to murdering people for his career clout. So he's just basically now just become a cold-blooded murderer. I don't agree with this. I don't think it's a thing. I think this needs to stop. This needs to stop. I'll just go. I've got the originals anyway, so I'll just go back and play those. Hopefully they've got like the 4K boost on Xbox, which is remarkable, by the way. And I'll just continue playing it through that because I think this is absolutely a real big shame that they have gone and changed this game so much. This is no longer a remaster, and to the people that actually did remaster, I think there is some false advertising there. Because when you remaster something, you are bringing what the game was in a one-to-one rendition, and any changes are told to you in advance. People have pre-ordered this game on the basis that it is a remaster of the original game with upped graphics and a couple of control enhancements and save enhancements. Now they've gone and changed a whole bunch of stuff. They've changed who Ken is. They've changed Cliff. They've changed a bunch of stuff. I think it's totally unacceptable. Let me know in the comment section below if you're going to buy this. Has this convinced you to still buy it? Has this convinced you to not buy it? I mean, what's your thoughts on this? I would really love to know, and maybe on Tuesday we can have a discussion about it because I'm interested in this one, so let's see how that goes. But that's the video. Thanks so much for watching. Do consider leaving a like. It really means the world to me. Hit that subscribe button. Let's see if we can hit maybe, I don't know, 150 likes for this video. Hit that bell to stay up to date with all content I release. You can support me further by clicking on that join button, which gives you a YouTube membership, and as well as giving you cool emotes for the live streams and early access to content. Don't forget, you can also click on that super thanks to thank me for the video if you've really liked this video. That's it, folks. I'll see you in the next one. Remain legend.